Welcome artists to this Halloween special. Another All Hallows Eve is upon us and spooky creativity clings to the air. I have my companion Falco with me here, and tonight we'll be painting creepy things. And very soon I'll be launching a new art course called Concept Art Adventures with art quests, new painting techniques and workflows, sketching and speed painting, and a bunch more. There's limited spots, so check out the waitlist below. But for tonight, let's paint some spooky stuff. It seems we're not alone, Falco. Run! Get in, Falco! That was close, artists. We'll have to be on the lookout tonight. Let's get to painting. Alright guys, let's look at this Halloween painting that I did. Hopefully Falco won't bother us too much. Yeah, so I'm starting the painting 2500 by 1500. And I don't really know what to do in this painting. I just figured, to do something like a farm in a forest with like some spirits. Nej, inte detta. Falco, ner. Kom ner. And yeah, so right now I'm just making a new layer here, and I'm just painting. I don't really know what I'm doing here, actually. I'm just putting down some colors, putting down some shapes, and this is one of the ways that I like to work. Just block out some shapes and some forms with a little bit of color sometimes. Also, I'll be reading your comments on my phone while you're watching this painting, and just answering some of your questions. So yeah, first of all, I'm just thinking about composition here. Right now I'm just painting out the little house, I think. I'm just thinking that maybe there's a little cabin here, and perhaps some ghoul is like haunting it, or some spirits or something. So again, I'm just trusting the process, and I'm not sure if it'll work, but that doesn't really matter, because once you put down shapes in a decent enough way, you will see something from it. It's like the power of the mind. You just see shapes in it. I'm not sure what that's called. There's a way to see, like when you're looking at clouds and stuff, you can see shapes like faces and stuff. But this is very powerful for artists. When you put down these different marks, the concept will appear from that. So yeah, I'm just using a bunch of brushes, and you can download all of these brushes that you see me use here. I have them for free. You can download them there. So let me go through some comments here and see what I see. Yeah, I'm also using the free transform. I'm using the power of Photoshop, really, just like in any way I want. Even other stuff than Photoshop, like Blender. I didn't use any Blender in 3D in this one. I just stuck to simple painting. I did use a little bit of photos in the end, but again, it's not cheating. Using photos and stuff like that. It's just part of the process, the creative process. It's still your concept. It's still something you're, putting on the screen there with your brushes, and you're tweaking it yourself the way that you want to. It's completely different from many other things like AI. But yeah, let's check it out here. So yeah, a lot of people have been mentioning that I'm finally back. I know it's been a while, since I posted a lot here on YouTube. I've been pretty busy. I was in Los Angeles. I took my commercial pilot license, and I hear a mouse, actually. These annoying mice here at the cabin in Norway. But yeah, so I took my commercial pilot license in Los Angeles, and yeah, I'm certified to fly airplanes commercially. But yeah, I think the dog is interested in it too. Anyway, I'm just you know, filling in some shapes here and, you know, putting down sort of like the general form of this cabin. Just a little bit of hints at maybe like wooden panels. Again, you see how sketchy this is. I mean, this is all like a speed painting thing. I love doing this kind of stuff. It's easy, it's fun. And I want to teach you that as well in my upcoming course, Concept Art Adventures. But cool, let's keep going here. Let's look. You really live in between those heavenly mountains, said Toast made it. Yeah, it's beautiful here in Scandinavia. Yeah, those brushes are amazing. You can download the brushes. All the brushes that you see here. The Evenant brush pack. Please keep this up. It's really nice working on my manga while we sketch together. So it's Tristan Rocha, 2759. Yeah, nice to hear that, Tristan. It's really fun to paint together, you know. I think artists can get kind of lonely, you know, behind their screens. It's pretty cool to just, you know, work together in solidarity. Which is why I'm going back to like cohorts and stuff, doing courses where people go through it as a group. And of course, if you don't have time, you can still watch through it later. But yeah, I think it's fun to make art together and to learn together, really, to do the quests. Hey man, love these kind of videos. Please do more, says Top Burger. Cheers. Kind of handsome, says Suzanne. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, interesting. Alright, so yeah, a lot of comments on the recent video, getting great at sketching. So, like sketching with graphite and stuff, like traditional painting and drawing, I think is a great skill to have. It really comes into play when you're doing digital painting as well. Because everything is the same stuff, you know, you're putting down shapes, you're putting down lines, and sort of indicating details, stuff like that. So there's not that much of a difference between traditional painting and digital painting, other than the way that you actually, you know, the actual tools themselves in the medium. But I love doing that as well. Let me know if you guys want to see more traditional stuff. Sea Magician says, I've got all the fundamentals and I'm really quick at drawing almost anything in front of me. I'm struggling with imagination. I'm overthinking angles and mixing things up, or get stuck overthinking how something should connect despite having drawn that connection several times before. Any advice? Yeah, so I would say the thing with imagination and with generating ideas, that all becomes much, and here you see that I just kind of took that away and just brought it back there, just painting a little bit of a background, because it's good to keep some sort of project management here and not have everything in one painting. You can do that too. I do that sometimes, just paint everything in one layer. But I find that my paintings get cleaner and I can do a lot more when I split things up a little bit and have these like different elements, such as story elements or foreground, middle ground, background. It just helps with like masking. It helps with painting more clean lines and separating things as well. But yeah, you can do both. The dog is really restless, chasing that mouse. Yeah. So anyway, sorry about that tangent. So yeah, the imagination and, you know, coming up with ideas. That's where sketching and speed painting really comes into play, because you know, it's so easy to just sit down and do a bunch of sketches rather than doing one master painting. Because you don't care if you spend, you know, 10 minutes, 20 minutes on a couple ideas and they don't turn out that great, rather than having spent, you know, a lot of time on one painting and it's not that great. So finding ideas, you know, you can watch other people's paintings and drawings. That's a huge thing that I love to do. Studies, references. I think that's a great way to improve. It's a great way to get over plateaus, to you know, find new ways of working, because you look at something and you think, how do I do that? You know, like that texture or that atmospheric perspective or design, you know, and then you try to do it yourself and you suddenly acquire that skill. I see it like that, acquiring skills. Kind of like your Link, I feel like Link from Legend of Zelda anytime I'm out and doing stuff, not just with art, but with music and flying planes and, sailing and all kinds of stuff that I love to do. I see it as a quest, and that you're acquiring different skills for your arsenal. And so, when you're on this quest to do something, to understand something or learn something, then studies are absolutely the best way to, come up with more ideas, to get inspired, to learn techniques on your own. You can also watch me, of course, like in my courses and stuff. I show you a bunch of things and ways to start paintings, ways to develop them, to finish them, and there's many ways of starting. You can also like photo bash. You can put a bunch of photos together or paint over photos, and then reach some sort of continuation for a painting. You can start with 3D as well. Just fly the camera around some epic thing you made pretty quickly. Change lighting and stuff like that. But yeah, imagination, it all comes from doing studies, seeing references, looking at other people's paintings and photos, and just trying things out, just like playing around with ideas. And that's where sketching and speed painting really helps. Let's see here. My phone keeps shutting down here. But yeah, so going back to the painting here, you see I added that light. I think that light on the cabin really helped a lot. It made it very atmospheric. And now I'm just fixing up the general landscape. I'm pretty obsessed with landscapes and, with environments. I do like character paintings as well, and creature concept art and stuff like that. I'm going to be talking about that and showing you as well in Concept Art Adventures in one of the quests. But yeah, I'm starting with that now, and I'm using this one custom shape that I did before I made this painting. I just took a photo of a tree, and then I made a path. Another thing that I'll show you, some techniques in Photoshop, and you can also use that in other software. Now the mouse ran into the cabin board, and Falco is trying to open it up there. Falco, come here. Come it. He doesn't. He's still locked into that mouse. Yeah, so you can see here I've just been darkening down things. I'm flipping the canvas horizontally a lot to see any compositional mistakes or how the comp looks. And it should read well from both sides. Come on. Come on. Yeah, and here I'm using like linear dodge over it, and it just kind of like glows. But you can see here I'm using a lot of different design principles to guide the eye in to the painting, to that focal area. And soon I'm going to be adding in some more story elements, more horror elements, because this is a horror type painting. And it doesn't really matter what it is you're painting, the design fundamentals are the same. You're using the same design elements, like shape, form, color, depth and stuff like that. So yeah, you can see here I'm just painting on, just using big strokes. And then when I feel that something is good, I can just make the brush a little bit smaller. A lot of you guys, you use too big brush strokes. That's what I see my students do a lot. Like they use too big of brush strokes. They don't go small and like really try to refine edges and refine some details where the audience will look a lot. Yeah, just making a little door. And if you don't know how to paint houses, just look at photos of houses or paintings of houses and get some idea there. Then you don't need imagination. You can just use references, study it. Let's see any other questions here. So Goriyami says, when will Concept Art Adventures come out? Yeah, so like I said before, it's or maybe I didn't say it. So right now I'm working on it, and I'm just making sure all the quests make sense and, you know, fit beginners. I was gonna plan on doing some 3D as well in this one, but I think maybe next time. But yeah, the people who join this time, there's limited spots, by the way, but the people who do join, they have the option of you know, telling me if they need anything different, if they want me to cover some other software or some other thing. But so to answer your question, I'm working on it right now, so hopefully it'll come out in the next month or two. But yeah, I have a waitlist below in this video, so you can just you can sign up to the waitlist there to get notified. But yeah, so now you see me like fixing the composition a little bit more. I want to make it even a little bit more wide angle and have that flow into the painting. And you can see I started this, like, so the actual final painting turned out a little bit differently. Not this sort of forest scene, but you see here that this is part of the process, the creative process. You don't shy away from different ideas. You just try them out and see if they work. If they're not, if they don't work, and you have some other idea, just try it out. It's not a big deal. Especially since I've only spent 20 minutes, 50 minutes, or whatever, not that much, on this. And that's the power of speed painting, the power of sketching. Here as well, you see I'm using the lasso a lot. It would be much easier if I just did different layers from the beginning, which I do later. I fix that, I create separate layers for the house, for the background. But this is pretty cool, actually. I really like this. Maybe I should have stuck with this concept. It looks like moonlight coming through the forest. But yeah, I did change it a little bit. But yeah, so right now I'm adding this story element, this sort of like ghost or apparition in the sky there. A little bit similar to, what's that movie called? Hereditary. That's a creepy movie. Oh man. The same guy who did Ari Aster, I think it's called. He created Midsommar. It's a pretty accurate description of our summer festivities. Anyway, here you can see it's kind of like unclear what they are, but they look humanoid, so perhaps spirits. Really creepy kind of thing. And I'm pressing F here to change the way that I'm looking at it, like not with all the menus. That helps sometimes. And now I took the whole thing. I think I press Shift Option Command N and then E. That's to stamp all of the layers into one. So no more layers, just one. And then I just I play around a little bit with the composition. And here I figured that I didn't really like the forest too much. I thought they were a bit distracting, so I wanted to make it a bit cleaner and have the floating spirits be a bit more of a focus. So I'm taking away the trees, and just sort of like you can see here now, it looks like a sky instead. And that's where I'm continuing with the painting. But I'm using this. This is a fun brush. I really like using this one. Especially this and mixer brush. You'll see me use mixer brush later as well. But you get this like really nice oil painting type look with it. Just color picking from different parts. It's still pretty much one layer. I did do another layer now, but yeah. So I'm just looking between the different elements of the painting, seeing if I can clean it up a bit. Make some parts more clear, because I'm not sure myself, what to do here. This is all pretty much on the fly. A lot of Control Z. A great exercise is actually to not use Control Z, to just stick with what you're painting, but it doesn't matter. You're just making art, you're trying things out, and trust the process. It'll look good. Making another little cabin there. You can continue watching. Some of your comments here. Sorry about that, my internet went out. So yeah, making it on a new layer, finally. Also, please save your work. I'm so bad at saving my work. I'm so into the painting process. That in itself must be a horror movie. You know, watching me paint a lot and not seeing me save. I do that pretty much every tutorial, and yeah, I'm much better at it when I'm you know, holding a course or something like that. Let me throw another log into the fire just so I can see a bit better around here. I do have lights, of course, but I'm trying to keep it a little bit moody. There we go, a little bit more light. So yeah, just making this this roof here, a little bit of details, just indicating details, you know. Let's see here. This video is so relaxing. Happy you enjoy that, Jose Vans. Sarah Nino Mai. While it is back, oh my god, you're one of my favorite artists and teacher from YouTube. I learned so many things from your videos, especially environment painting. I'm so happy. I'm happy too that you're around and subscribed. Also, guys, if you've watched so far, you know you've already watched 24 minutes into the video. I'd be happy if you guys subscribed and like the video. That'll help me out. Let's see. I love this tutorial. I've been having the case of fearing the blank sketchbook, Meg Torelba says. But you make sketching look so easy. I'm totally inspired to just sketch away. I hope you can do more sketching videos. Yeah, the blank sketchbook. That's common, right? Like fearing the white page or a canvas. And yeah, just getting started is like the biggest battle, I feel. And also not that hard, you know, once you crack the code of how to get started with things and not fear that, you know, the fear of starting and getting somewhere, you just level up so much. Because then you try out much more, and naturally you practice more, you progress more. It's not perfect. Like I say, practice makes progress, not perfect. Yeah, you'll just see so much more success. And here you see I just made another layer. I thought this looked really cool, actually. Kind of like this, there's hope in the background, there's light. So there's like sort of sunset or dawn, I would say. Dawn is probably better. I listen to a lot of these creepypastas. I love that stuff. Just stories people have written, and other YouTubers, they narrate it. So they talk about the stories, kind of like an hour to or 30 minutes to a couple hours of short stories, horror stories. And this reminds me of a horror story that like this couple, they see these people in the streets in their neighborhood. They sort of like, you know, things happen to them and they become these spirits and float around, and then dawn comes and they don't like the light. But yeah, see there I used a mixer brush right now, and you can use my settings as well. You'll see up there on the top I have specific settings. I change them sometimes, like the flow, the wetness and stuff like that. But whatever you're seeing on the screen, you can just mimic me, and I'm happy if you guys just take my concepts and try to create your own with them. I'm happy if you do that, because that'll teach you as well things, you know, how to make your own farm or whatever it is you want to paint and you want to do. So I think that was like a mistake that I did there. I just painted like a line, and then I saw, that looked like power lines. So I thought that looked cool. It added a little bit more of a human element to it, like it's not just some abandoned thing out there, but there's actually like civilization along with these floating spirits. I'm gonna add some more spirits later, but yeah, just adding a couple details here, small details. They help. Not details everywhere, but in important areas, indicating that there's something there, right? But you see here, the painting is starting to take shape. I could cut here, you know, I could just make some more of those floating things and that'll be it, but it's up to you, you know, when to call it finished. I always say it's rather finished than, you know, not finished, really. Like, you just want to, like, rather finished than perfect, I guess, is a way to say it. Because a lot of people, a lot of artists and composers and other people that I've had for students, you know, they don't finish stuff, and they sit obsessing over one painting or over one thing, when you should just be done with it, you know, call it done, hit save, sign off on it, and then move on to the next thing. So, but yeah, I mean, this was for a tutorial. I had this idea, and I wanted to continue seeing how far I could take it in like an hour or so. I have it slightly sped up just so it's not completely slow, but just for the purpose of, you know, me talking and not making this too long, but it's pretty much real time here. And here I'm just experimenting with some shapes, you know, trying to make it a little bit more creepy. He does look creepy, or she, but I think I put down the head a little bit more down, like that. Just finding ways to make it even creepier. There's a lot of ways to make something creepy, you know. Making it look unnatural and sort of having people guess what it is. It looks familiar, but it's not completely, you're not sure what it is or how it's even possible. That's pretty creepy. Yeah, adding some details there and a little bit of form, giving him some form to that shape, so it's not just a silhouette. Makes it look a little bit more finished, a little bit more rendered. Of course, you could take this super far, you know, I could go in here and really paint out everything on this, but again, I like the painterly look. I like just getting the concept down. You know, this is enough for someone to look at this and make a whole story out of it. Even yourself, if you want to, you know, if you like writing and stuff. Here I'm using the mixer brush. I do only have that guy on that layer, so it doesn't really work perfectly, but I'm trying out some things, you know, just happy accidents. Let's see, any more comments here. I have lots of comments. I remember your helpful and chill sketching tutorials. I kind of have an art block 1.5 years now, but this makes me want to start again. Glad to have you back. Nice farm, by the way. It says visual SPH visual art 352. Yeah, thank you. I'm happy you are getting inspired again. Again, it's like so. I think it's important to have a community and to have people, you know, paint together and create together and get inspired. Because it gets kind of lonely being an artist. I know it myself. I feel that there's a big lack of community, you know, in this society, and I want to battle that. You know, I want to make more of a community, more like group stuff happening, more events and challenges, and that's where I'm taking things with my more premium stuff, like the concept art adventures. And it's not going to be that expensive. It's going to be cheaper than my other stuff, but it's like 4 weeks. You know, have a bunch of art quests for you, and of course video tutorials and walkthroughs on how to do stuff like this, and ways of starting, using different workflows, and just what I've learned over the years. You know, teaching people and stuff like that. What did you do at the end to bring that effect? Fahim Rabi says. I'm not really sure. Was another video. Probably some chromatic aberration maybe, or some sharpening. You see me in my videos and my courses. I do a lot of different tricks, small tricks like that, that help a lot to the final thing. Obviously, it's not the the main painting, but it does help having some effects like that. There's lots you can do with Photoshop and also Krita and Procreate and stuff like that. My art dad is back. The Marco of art says. Glad you're back. So relaxing to watch you sketching with this perfectly fitting music. Yeah, I'm happy you guys like my music as well that I compose for these episodes and for the background of everything I do. I'm also a composer by trade. Did a lot of composing in the past. Yeah, so here you see I just copied over that element in a layer and I try to place it around, maybe have a little bit more of a foreground element there to have some foreshadowing towards the back. But I decided to just keep it in the back and then work a little bit on the foreground later. Yeah, but also let me know if you want to hear more of my music, like on Spotify, or if you want me to share some of what I compose for this stuff. Knee virus, no uploads for 2 years and pops out of nowhere. What a peculiar sight to see. I remember watching you how to paint rocks and snow guide back when I was a beginner in 2021. Those were the days. I didn't even understand masking back then, so I couldn't get your snow tutorial. That and the whole concept of painting as a skill. I thought it was just coloring your drawings, but I was so wrong. The painter's mindset and approach was nothing like I assumed it was years ago, and it still bewilders me to this day. Yeah, there's lots that goes into making art. And it's still gonna be fun forever, right? It's not gonna get boring because it's so endless with like ideas you can pull off and different effects and different mediums, even if you want to try out that, not just digital. Also using stuff like Blender. I love Blender, that's something I use a lot in my work, both for my gigs. I use it in commercial work. I even use it in animation. Done some trailers. They look really, really good. Also in my artworks, I like that workflow. You can get some really cool effects. I do have a course called 3D for Artists. And I'm going to probably be covering some 3D if people want to see that, like learn more about Blender, how to use it in their concept art and in their paintings, and maybe even animation. But you guys need to let me know. At least those who join the concept art adventures course. Here's a pretty cool effect, actually. I used a lock transparent pixel that you see there. There's like a lock thing on the layer. And I'm just painting... Actually, you don't need a lock thing, but it makes it easier. I'm just painting like this... what's it called? Rim light, I believe. So I'm painting a little bit of rim light to sort of have that object pop out a little bit more from the background. Because there's light, from the sky. I thought that looked pretty cool. Looked very atmospheric and cool like that. Oh yeah, here I'm going into Unsplash, and I figured why not just try using one of these free photos. I was going to use some foreground element there. You can see this forest, just that foreground there. I can use a little bit of that texture. But then I pasted it in and I saw, whoa, that looked really cool, like these giant trees. That looked very atmospheric and very fantasy in a way. So I tried playing around a little bit with the levels, seeing if I could make that work. And it probably would have worked, but I decided that would change it up too much, and I kind of went off what I was going for in the beginning. So I just decided to do what I, went out to do, which was just take some textures for the foreground. Just elevates the whole realism a bit. You can paint it, of course, the leaves and having different brushes. But it's just one way of working, using photos. And I like to do that, to elevate it even more, make it more photorealistic. Kind of like matte painting techniques. I love matte paintings. I've done some matte paintings for some movies and some games even. Also did some matte paintings for like an Indian wedding in Durban, South Africa. And some like an Aladdin theater play. I use some Blender there as well, but yeah, you see here I'm just taking that, having like the eraser, I'm just erasing a little bit here and there, but like now if you squint a little bit, it looks so much more realistic, and it goes very quick. Can't really see that that's the photo that I took it from. It's just some photo textures, you know, it's like photo bashing and some matte painting techniques. Another workflow. And people who say, you know, this is cheating or something, I mean, what do you have to gain on saying stuff like that? It's just, it's all part of creating art. You know, you're just making your own concepts from it. There's purists, and if you don't want to use any photos, don't. You know, just keep painting completely from scratch everything. You can. I can too, but why? You know, why not use what I want to use? It's just fun. It's fun to create the way that I want to create. And this mouse is going into the trash now. Yeah, but rant over about that. So yeah, here I'm just using some other brushes, like some grass, just color picking from that, the actual photo there, and get good colors as well, a little bit more saturation on some parts, and a little bit more green and brown. But when you're making studies, when you're doing studies, you don't want to use photos. I mean, to do the actual study of the photo, that's great. But to actually like color pick from the photo when you're doing studies, I think that defeats the purpose a bit. You should definitely try to match the colors yourself. Then you'll understand more how colors work. You know, like sometimes when you have gray, let's say you have a mostly blue painting, and then you're using gray somewhere, that can look very red, you know, it can look very warm. So that teaches you a lot about color theory and color schemes. But yeah, so here I'm using this brush. I really like this brush as well, very textured, very nice. And sort of using some eraser and color picking to get sort of nice, clean edges. Because you want to have this proportion, you know, of hard edges, soft edges, and no edges. And this painting has that. Like in the sky, you see a lot of soft edges. You see some hard edges as well, like some of those clouds there. But many others are like very soft, or even no edges. And on the ground there, in the middle, there's more hard edges that lead the eye in through that road there. This is another cool thing I like to do. I like to, like, when I thought I could maybe add some puddles here and have some reflections. So I just took the lasso tool, made a new layer, keeping track of what my layer hierarchy is, and now I'm painting like vertical streaks from the sky and from a little bit from the house. And you see here in a minute or second, kind of how that effect sort of shows up. Kind of looks like water puddles. You can see there. I think that looks pretty cool. You can do lakes like that as well. You can even take the whole picture. You can take, you know, the rectangular marquee tool. You can copy the whole picture on top and then flip it vertically and then mask out. Falco? Nej. Nej. Come on. Come on. He was biting some stuff. Vad gör du? Vad är det du håller på med? What was I saying? I was talking about, yeah, so like water and reflections and stuff. You can take the whole thing, you can copy that, and then flip it over, and then mask out like wherever you want. That's a really cool effect to get lake or water. So yeah, you see here I'm just going in and I cut out the house now just to make it a little bit more easier for me to clean things up in the background and add some things if I want to. Also the painting could be finished, you know, again, it's finished when you say it is. Now I'm just going in between the layers and adding some clouds and mists. You can definitely overdo this which I do in this painting, but I cleaned it up a little bit with some Gaussian blur and warping it around, making it a little bit less. You can also use the soft brush, the very big soft brush that I have in the brush pack you can get for free. You see there, it kind of got like motley and motley crew. But let's see. Yeah, now I'm just again, you know, I don't have any layers there, but you can also make a new layer and then erase it like I'm doing here. Erase some parts. Also use some Gaussian blur. It's one of the brushes there for the fog. Sorry if there's lots of noise from me pressing the phone. This is so cool, I didn't even notice I watched the whole video. Butter went dark said. Happy you liked it. Make sure to subscribe if you do watch. The link in the description to get the brush pack isn't working. I checked all my inboxes, nothing. Yeah, sometimes it ends up in the spam. If it doesn't, then you know, try another email perhaps. Maybe you've tried to download it before and then you unsubscribed from the mailing newsletter. I have a newsletter that I send out a bunch of tips and tricks and free brushes that I make, tutorials and, you know, promos and stuff on my courses. But if you were there before and you sometime unsubscribed, then you won't be able to use that same email to download the brush pack. So think about that. Finally back, Wyatt. Bro, I really miss you, bro. I want you to make videos on YouTube, every topic. I mean, tell us how to make a portfolio, how to make money, just live it, going to fun. Love you, bro. Okay, thank you, Bilal Nosher. Yeah, how to make portfolio, how to make money. There's lots of ways to make money as an artist. You know, people say today that AI just have taken over all the artist's work. That's not true. It's definitely not true. I still have a lot of work as an artist, even if there's AI there. Because people like working with people. You know, they can ask me exactly what they want. I can change things. I can change the colors and I can do everything much, much better than an AI. Of course, they can get some, you know, foundation or they can get ideas, but the real work, you know, it's much better done by a human, and many people know that. They're not very happy with what they can get with AI. And AI shouldn't stop you from making art and becoming good at it and even making money from it. It's just, I understand that many people do get, you know, discouraged from making art now that there's AI that does it for them, but think about why you're making art. You know, it's fun. You're creating amazing concepts and cool, you know, worlds and characters and people. I mean, it's fun. It's what it should be, you know. AI doesn't change any of that at all. And of course, there's lots of ways for it to go when it comes to like attribution and compensation for the artist that it does, you know, scrape the art from. Just gonna throw another log in the fire, but yeah, that's my little AI rant. Don't get discouraged, guys. It's also really cold here. -degrees today. So yeah, I see here I just added some more characters, and now it's getting to the point where, you know, it's getting finished here, this painting. And there I duplicated those characters, or those spirits, and I went into blending modes, or blending styles, and took away some of the channels, like the red, and I think I kept the red. I tried some different ones, and then I'm slowly, slightly warping one of them, so there's a duplicate. That'll create this chromatic aberration. You can see here I'm playing around with the green, the blue, from them being slightly altered, and that gives it a little bit like a spectre type look. I thought that was cool. is Kara really trustworthy? I do art as a hobby, but I want to have a place AI free and safe to post the stuff I make. I think Kara is trustworthy. At least that's what they claim to be, so I have a Kara account. I really do miss these 10-minute concepts, above all this guy. Thank you, Schmidt FG. Yeah, so I did make a lot of those, or a couple of those 10 minutes challenges where some subscriber, one of you guys, just tell me what to paint, and then I paint something in 10 minutes. I put a timer, and I show you the whole process of me sweating. Yeah, it's a fun exercise. Should probably do that more. Let me know if you want to see that, more of that. At least Schmidt FG wants to see it. I also get a lot of comments on my music stuff. My music, my tracks. A lot of the steampunk orchestra and the very cringe Pirates We Are that I made way back that have actually been used in theme parks and stuff. It's pretty funny. And those aren't... I'm not very proud of those, compositions. I do much better work with orchestras today. Yep, here I'm just... I just actually stamped the whole thing. I think it was a command... Again, command option shift, or on PC it's control alt shift N, control alt shift E. That'll make a new layer and stamp it to one painting, one layer. And I just went in and I'm fixing up small things. Painting some small stuff. Like right now I'm painting some birds. I like birds. I'm like Falco, chasing the birds. Isn't that right, Falco? He's sleeping now by the shoes. Thank you so much for sharing the free brushes. Happy you guys like the brushes. I have more stuff coming up. What custom shape pack do you use? I use my own. I make my own custom shapes. Again, let me know if you want those as well. I have a lot of different trees and horses and stuff like that. I suck at painting horses. I should do more reference stuff for that. I mean, I can do horses okay, but anyway, yeah, lots of comments. I'll probably do another one of these. Not Halloween, but some other thing on where I'm reading your comments, and you can watch me paint and I explain my process. But that's pretty much it, guys. I think this is it. Oh, there's still a bit left to go. A couple of minutes here. Yeah, now I just took another one there, and I'm correcting the levels. I'm correcting all kinds of stuff like that right now. And here I'm going with mixer brush because there's too many hard edges everywhere, so I want to erase that a little bit. Not erase, but change it. And here I don't have any layers anymore, right? So I took my forest brush and I'm erasing where I know there's objects. And now it looks, I just took the eraser and it looks like fog there now. That's a pretty cool thing you can do as well. There's many ways to be creative making art. Obviously. Here, not to make it like too flat, I'm painting a little bit of edge light on the treetops. Some of those, not leaves, but yeah, I guess those are leaves. I'm not sure what they're called. Needles. Yeah, pine needles and spruce needles. Makes it look a little bit more 3D. Does anyone still care about art? I made a comment like that earlier, or asked people if you guys are still making art after everything with AI and everything like that. I was hoping you are. I still do have my students who are progressing a lot, and hopefully you guys are too. It's a great question. I myself am in a situation where I'm so unsure whether to begin education and pursue a game art career simply because it feels like with the rise of AI, they will just be obsolete. Again, they won't, because humans work better with humans, especially when it comes to creative stuff. But yeah, of course, AI changes the landscape. I'm not going to be completely neglecting that. Obviously, it changes a lot. But yeah, it won't change the fact that people still love working with people, that you can get much more better work done, especially with creative stuff, than having a computer do it. And if you want, you can even use it in your work, like to get ideas maybe. I'm not sure. It's all up to yourself if you want to do that. I don't do that personally because I just feel uneasy from AI because I know it's scraping other people's art and stuff like that. But, you know, to each their own. And if you want to use it as a tool, then go ahead. I'm not going to stop you or, you know, or judge you, as long as you make good art. Anyway, enough talk about AI. So tired of that. Cool. So yeah, you can see now it's really coming up to the end here. It's just very tiny stuff. Like now I'm adding just a little bit of that light from the windows there. Small things like that really help. But most of it is done. Now I just duplicated the whole thing. I put screen, I did caution blur and some levels, and that just gives a little bit of glow. Another cool effect, and boosted the saturation a bit on that glow. Stamped it all, and then a little bit of sharpening. I think that helps with this style of painting. Makes it look thicker, like thick brush strokes. I like that effect. Yeah, guys, so that's pretty much it. There's lots of comments, of course, but I am gonna save some of them for the next time. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this this walkthrough here. I hope you learned something cool. Now I'm using some burn and dodge on the whole thing. Oh wow, those mice are pretty annoying. Yeah, but that's pretty much it, you know. It's just I just started the painting with an idea of some farm, perhaps some spirits, and this is what came out of it. So that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed this painting tutorial, and I'll see you on the next one. And be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. And yeah, you can sign up to the waitlist to Concept Art Adventures, which is coming out pretty soon. I think you guys are gonna love that. Yeah, happy you stayed here. Happy Halloween. Cheers.